Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and today I'll be reacting to Prince performing the staple singer song, When Will I Be Paid? I don't know the staple singers, and frankly speaking, there are a lot of groups and bands that I am just woefully unaware of. It's one of the reasons I started this channel, because there are names that float around in the musical ether that, whether I've heard or not, I certainly haven't listened to. So the staple singers are one of them, but today we're going to hear Prince covering the song, and as you know, I'm always excited to listen to more Prince, but before we do jump in, a massive thank you to Samantha the Noble for making this donation request. And now, let's jump in.
Once again, we'd like to thank you for coming to our rehearsal.
Oh, also I'd like to add that Samantha generously provided the entire transcription for this video, so we have her to thank.
Now, last night, you turn yourself for us. Last night we played DC. And I talked to them a little bit about the trouble that they're having with the electoral process.
Oh, electoral? It's still a problem, man.
And pretty much, all of us in the building were in agreement that we have the government we deserve. We are a divided people, thus our government is divided.
You know, and a sad part about the division that exists in society, it is so hard to bring us together, but it is so easy to pull us apart. If we recognize that, if we understand that it's better that we look our differences in the face and say it is okay to have differences of opinion as long as we can, look towards a mutual goal. People don't even see that these days. They get stuck on the facts, they get stuck on the psyops, and nothing gets done.
It's very interesting. There are young, old, black, white, male, female, and we all just grooving. We are not divided in this movement. So this lets me know the power of music.
Yes, the great equalizer. It's universal.
Now, I do not mean to offend anybody when I say that when I hear corporate leaders, AOL, Time Warner, Bertelsmann, Seagrams, Napster, when I hear them on television talking about music, it ails me. Ain't there somebody in any one of their corporations a musician?
Yeah. I was going to say, people who are not musicians themselves don't really understand art. They only try to commodify it.
When you speak about music, you speak about me and my people. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but I do know that this thing called Napster just sold out to Bertelsmann for $50 million, and I ain't heard him sing nearly.
What is Napster? Let me do a quick Google. Napster, the music service for music fans. Napster was an American proprietary peer-to-peer file-sharing application primarily associated with digital audio file distribution. Found by Sean Fanning and Sean Parker, the platform originally launched in June 1991. Audio shared on the service was typically encoded in the MP3 format. As the software became popular, the company encountered legal difficulties over copyright infringement. Napster ceased operations in 2001 after losing multiple lawsuits and filed for bankruptcy in June 2002. Yeah, this is something I haven't heard of before, but copyright in music and MP3, digital production, all of this, or digital distribution rather, tale as old as time, at least in the 21st century.
He's 20 years old, they tell me. He sells it and got $50 million. When will we be paid? Now,
when will the artist be paid? Yeah. Because you sold the platform, but it's on the backs of who?
my favorite subject now. There is the truth, and then there is everything else. When you hear the words intellectual property, it's code for your future. What that means, we are here to protect your intellectual property.
Yep. And any monetary value you can derive off of that in the future in perpetuity, that's why companies that are very predatory, they seek royalties and perpetual licensing fees, and I'm sure many more just predatory business practices that even I'm unaware of.
What I hear is, we are here to protect your future. And I say, you know what? I don't need you to protect my future. I'll protect my future.
Because their interests are not aligned.
Give me what I made back to me so that I may hand something to my children. Now, G, he's made many records. I asked him today, I said, what are you going to give to your children? He can't, music lessons, she said. He should be able to hand the master recordings to his children so that they have a head start. It's called the dynasty. To stay in the family.
Yeah.
We can fix our communities, right? Jimi Hendrix made a lot of music to stay in his family. Miles Davis made a lot of music. You can go in the music store and still find Miles Davis records to stay in his family.
Yes.
I made a lot of music.
And there's so many other things to consider, but this is why AI is an existential threat to music and just many other art forms and the world in general, because if music can be created in mass quantities and distributed instantaneously, and it sounds good enough to the unassuming consumer, then there's little chance that you would actually blow up as an independent artist, as an actual human, and then you still have to compete. You still have to fight for your intellectual property rights anyways. Whereas these companies now, they've turned into tech firms that commodify music and produce it en masse and will have infinite ownership of those intellectual property rights. It's just the chips keep getting stacked against independent artists.
When will we be paid? Now, I ain't trying to preach, I'm just trying to let y'all know something. BET.
BET? What is that?
Sold out, it's gone. Gone, sold it out. Viacom now owns your network. Your only network. It ain't like you got two. Paul Mooney said, UPN, you pick a nigga.
I don't know these references, UPN or
He said it, I did. Why y'all laughing on it? It's sad. Bamboozle. Check it out. It's only in the theater 45 minutes, alright? Because you don't own the theater. You own one theater. Give Magic Johnson some props, because he's trying, you know what I mean? You own theaters, you can put in the theater what you want to see. Yeah. This next tune is about what we're talking about. When will we be paid? It's given to me by Maida Staples. She did it in the movie Soul to Soul. When I saw the movie, it inspired me. These were the days when Music was music, and radio stations belonged to us. In Minnesota, we had different music, so we had different dances. In Chicago, they had different music, so we had different dances. In DC and Philly, y'all had your thing. We came out with music that inspired everybody. But now we got national playlists that go over, and everybody sounds alike.
Homogenize the sound, and then it can become easily replicable, and then, like we're experiencing now, AI just trains on that data and produces the same sound, and it gets regurgitated over and over. And this doesn't just happen in music, it is happening in every facet of life. Even if you look at the colors of buildings, many like architects have noted that the colors of buildings have gone from colorful and grandiose and vibrant to more monochromatic and grayscale. It happens with corporate logos. There's pre and posts of all corporate logos and fonts. They used to be colorful, they used to be individualistic, and now they are again simple, blocky font, monochromatic, grayscale, simple lettering. Everything is getting dumbed down. It is so sad.
They go over and everybody sounds alike. And what you would notice is I ain't on the radio no more. And there's a reason for that. I signed up to no corporate structure. So I ain't getting it from the records anymore. I get it where I can fit in, but this is what that song's about. If you want to join in on the chorus, if you're feeling it, please do. Come on, man.
That's great.
It's got a nice little slow thing on it. Turn the loop up a little bit. A little bit like
Huh?
a little bit more. Yeah.
I thought you was too.
It's a little eerie, this progression, no?
Now we can put this on a record and I can give it to you, but there's no middleman. You feeling me? Now, the chorus is very simple. It says, when will we be paid for the work we've done? Golden parachute? I don't think so. Come on, man. When will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? We fought in your wars, in every lane, to keep this country free, y'all. Women, children, men. We ask for pay all along. That's when everything seemed to turn out wrong. We've been beat up, caught, shot down in the stone. Every time we do right,
Start and stop that riff.
From shore to shore. I want to be cooked all your food.
Da 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 da. Sort of reminds me of the James Bond riff. Da 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 da. It's very chromatic.
And wash all your clothes. With pink cotton. Lay the railroad fields and relays. Work your hands down to the bone. That's your own bill. Somebody tell me when will we be paid? Come on. For the work we've done. Tell me now, say. When will we be paid? For the work. Turn I'll sing out loud, out loud. Sweet land of liberty. When will we be paid? What we've done?
I love that. There you have it. When will we be paid by Prince? And man, the plight of artists is palpable. And I don't know if this is rooted in any kind of like historical knowledge or some layman's understanding of the world and society, but like I have this feeling that when artists start becoming pressured by society abroad to commodify their work, that has to be one of the canaries in the coal mine as it relates to the degradation of that society's fabric. It doesn't feel plausible to me that a loving, ethical society would extract as much financial value from artists in general. Now, artists are a segment of the population. I believe this happens very broadly at a macro level with pretty much every person who is not part of the elite in terms of income, especially like in the United States. Income inequality is a massive issue, and I'm not here to, go on about economics. I'm not the expert in that field. It's just my own layman's understanding. But every year on year, that income inequality, that gap between the top 1% and 99% grows. And many of you are old enough to remember the we are the 99% movement, or the 1%. That conversation, I believe, was coming up in the 2010s. And this is like when I first learned about income inequality. And it's just getting worse, guys. Every single year, more wealth is disproportionately going to the rich. And if it's going to the rich, where is that money coming from? It's not just being artificially printed. That's not the only answer. It is being artificially printed, but even if it's artificially printed, it should be going to everybody proportionally, right? Based on a meritocracy, presumably based on merit. But actually, a lot of the systemic structures in place are siphoning away the wealth from the poor and the middle class, such that the middle class is getting squeezed out. And in years' time, which honestly it's happening now, people who are not in those higher tax brackets will not be able to afford the same commodities, same assets that previous generations were able to. Already there's large conversations about housing being almost impossible for the average citizen now to be able to buy. Buying a home is no longer part of the quote-unquote American dream. And that there's a lot baked into what is the American dream, but being pushed into a rigged game is not a part of that dream. It isn't cohesive. So to bring it all the way back to artists, even people with the highest levels of talent are being oppressed and taken advantage of one way or the other. Evil has found its way through every annal of society. And it's important that we as individuals, because we are individuals who work together to understand one another and the problems we all face, that we recognize what issues are there. Each of us face a different problem, and understanding is the first step in everything. I'm glad Prince was speaking on this issue today, and he speaks on a whole host of other issues, so, there's no wealth of knowledge here. But that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did and would like to request one yourself, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, and peace.